is extraordinary as books go. It starts off good and it finishes good. The second book in that series, not so much. Finishes good. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. It's my fault.
My fault.
Sorry.
All right. That's muted. Anyway, say hi to Fantinium. He's already here.
Hey, Fantinium. How is everybody doing? Or
anyway, do not discount Stephen King because you don't like his name. That book is amazing.
No, I don't like his writing.
You don't.
Don't tell me I haven't read him.
I'm not saying you haven't read him, Yule. I'm just saying he's written a lot of books, and some of them are way better than others. And that one is an exception. It is great. It is a very good book.
Every time I was told to read Stephen King, it just didn't really work out.
What were you told to read?
Well, I read The Stand.
Okay. I can't speak to that.
Well, I read. This was not because I was recommended. It was because it was available. I read The Green Mile.
Okay. I don't know that one's famously bad, but I don't.
Well, I appreciated that because I was homeless at the time.
Like genuinely homeless, like sucking on,
like couch surfing homeless. No, I wasn't like that. And I had no entertainment in the middle of the day, so I was borrowing my friend's Green Mile books, and they were there was a serial.
Yeah,
and they came out monthly. But when you read them all together, it's very tedious going back and getting the recap of everything.
So what you're saying is the delivery was good.
I appreciated it. I mean, it was cool that something like it existed. Only Stephen King could really jerk around like that and make his publisher put out stuff like that.
Yeah, that's.
But of course, do you know who copied it?
Yeah, Straub did one like that.
Wait, he did one also?
Yeah.
Now they worked on The Talisman together.
I know.
I tried reading that, but it was one of those I'm in current day and then I'm in the fantasy setting.
Yeah.
And that really is not my. I know I read that first Donaldson one, but that's not something I like to revisit too often.
I read the first Donaldson book in his science fiction series, and it was profoundly disturbing and hard to get through, even though it's really small. And I want to keep reading, but it was so disturbing, and I'm afraid he's going to do that to me on the regular, and I don't know if I can handle it, to be completely frank.
Well, Lord Fowlsbane was very disturbing.
I know. I've heard.
It had a disturbing moment.
Yeah.
It made sense. And I don't really want to discount it as far as...
Dude, it's as close to realism as you're probably going to get. People are that horrible.
Well, it's when you don't believe that what you are experiencing is real and everything is telling you that's not true.
Sure.
Well, it's like if you're in a GTA, right? I've seen this
perfect
GTA
simulation.
world all of a sudden.
Yeah, you can't tell. You just think, oh, this can't possibly be real. I'm in a video game. Guess what I'm gonna do?
Yeah.
Whatever I want. Yeah.
Well, Orson Scott Card did that in that Ender's Game, right?
Don't remember. I don't remember Ender's Game being particularly disturbing.
Well, I wouldn't say it was disturbing.
Donaldson will. I mean,
I meant more like the premise of what you think is real or what you think is fake is really real going on.
Yeah, but they weren't. That's a little different. That wasn't like the Matrix, They were.
Yeah, it was like Starfighter, but real.
Yeah, it was just straight up deceit. The kids were deceived in that book. They were not. They didn't imagine they were in a different reality, as it were.
I see. So the Last Starfighter would be like a Disney version of that.
Probably.
You knew what you were getting into as you were getting into it.
What fun. That movie was great because what fun. I mean, that is like that's the modern American wish or American dream for young kids. They want to be video streamers.
Or well,
They want to
yeah,
be so good at a
today.
video game that an alien comes by and is like, "Hey, you're going to play on our team professionally."
All right. So that was more of a late '80s movie, right?
I don't know.
Something like that.
Sure.
It was more of your dream that playing video game could actually equate into some sort of important success.
Well, it was just
Not just streaming.
anti-propaganda.
Not just streaming,
It
just
didn't
that
exist then. But
oh my gosh, I've proven that I'm skilled in this really lame thing, and it can be applied into something that's very important to the galaxy. That's like, oh wow. Now that's a reason to play Defender. You know?
Yeah.
That's a reason to play,
Yeah.
I played Defender, but Stargate Defender, that was the sequel. I was very good at that.
Well, I never had.
I was
so I
hoping, man, maybe that alien will come and get me. I'll be flying a ship.
Yeah. It's a good fantasy. It's not one that's ever going to happen to anybody, but it's a good fantasy.
What?
Getting picked out by aliens because you're really good at a video game that they
because
designed.
nobody plays video games like that anymore.
I bet you if an alien actually did design a video game, that it would be the best video game of all time. And they would get everybody to play it. And it would be the perfect opportunity for them to call exactly what they want. Or, engender.
You love arcades.
I did. I mean, when I was a kid, first grade though, like second grade, third grade, they started going out right around then.
Oh, yeah, it's because I'm older than you. When I moved to Covina in Southern California, we were right around the corner from a arcade called Kenny Arcade, and it would have like photographs of Motley Crue as they were Motley Crue, but they were kids in high school at one time, so they were coming back and taking picture at the old arcade.
Yeah.
And they would have like a little place to go get drinks, just Cokes and stuff like that. But I played a lot of video games there. RBI Baseball was a big one for me.
Nice.
And what was the one with the elf needs food bad? Labyrinth? Was that it? Or Gauntlet? It was Gauntlet. Do you know Gauntlet?
No. I never played it.
That was one where you needed to keep putting in quarters because your time's expiring, and your time expires by needing food. But you can go around the maze, and get food. But of course, there's monsters that are trying to kill you. So there's an elf on one side, and I guess it's like a magician. There's a dwarf, which is like a fighter, and a couple other characters. I can't remember. And it was like elf needs food bad, so you need to throw in another quarter is what it's saying.
Got ya.
A lot of that.
Microtransactions, huh?
Microtransactions, exactly.
So what was your favorite arcade game? Console, big game?
Man, there are so many. I definitely love the first Star Wars game. It was vector, so it's all that line, that liney stuff.
Yeah, I remember.
And you're flying into the Death Star.
Yeah,
and you have to dodge the cannons, and you have to shoot and hit the.
Yeah, and you couldn't slow down, and you couldn't speed up.
It's like something at Beggar's Canyon, shooting womp rats in Beggar's Canyon.
Pew pew.
It was awesome. I like that game. I remember we went to Vegas and we were playing Circus. There's all sorts of video games. I remember, oh man, it's got Joust and it's got Dig Dug and it's got all this other Mario crap. And obviously all sorts of other stuff, but it was Bally's, and I made my parents stop as we were leaving to go to Bally's for like an hour. And they had Star Wars, and it was like the first place on the West that had it.
Wow.
So I went down and I played that bad boy.
That's pretty cool. That's like, they were pretty much genius, and it never even occurred to me that would have been the biggest mecca for arcades in the world at the time. It would have had to have been, because that's where kids got dumped off when their parents went to gamble. We got dumped off. Me and my brother, we got dumped off in an arcade that was 30 machines, maybe. We had a great time.
When I was really young and it was just me and not my other brothers, my parents would go bowling, and I would just like hang out in the arcade. And they had like 2 different bowling alleys, but one had like a ton of pinball machines. Pinball was like, oh man.
I agree. I agree. Yeah.
And you're not the ones like with all like super crazy electronics and like a billion flippers, like the old janky ones that have like just one effect. But those were really cool games, and the artwork on those machines. Again, when I went to Vegas, but this time for Comic Relief, there is, I'm sure, pinball, or it's pretty much a pinball museum, if you will. And you go in, and you just plunk quarters in and play video games, but mostly pinball machines. And they had some of the ones that I played when I was a kid there. And wow, it was pretty cool.
Did you say a pinball museum?
Yeah, we'll call it a museum.
Where was this?
In Vegas.
Okay. Yeah, it's probably the same one I've been to.
It was like this. It seemed like a really small place, just kind of in the middle of nowhere.
Really? Maybe it's not the same one.
Maybe it was like this one.
Anyway. The one that I've been to 2 years ago, 3 years ago now was, I don't know, it's kind of like a small warehouse space, but still pretty sizable. South of the Strip.
That's what it sounds like to me. When I meant little, it was like by itself more, not like with a bunch of different things in the area.
Okay, I don't know.
No, it sounds like exactly what you described. It's like it was its own building, right?
Yeah, but it was kind of like in a strip of commercial buildings, like glass repair guys, and I don't know, that kind of commercial district. Right. Boring generally.
Yes.
You're only going to go there if you have to or need to. Well, the pinball museum's a need and have thing. you got to go. I know. Me too. I'm feeling the age. Every time I sit down, I'm afraid I'm going to have a stroke.
A stroke, huh?
Yeah.
You take care of yourself, don't you?
No. And the more you sit, the more likely you are to get blood clots. Bad. Don't want to die. Don't want to die that way. Nobody's going to find me. You ever watch, what is that show with Funny Girl? Oh, never mind. Can't remember the name of the show. 30 Rock. You ever watch 30 Rock?
Oh, Funny Girl. I thought you were talking about Barbara Streisand.
No. There's an episode of 30 Rock where Lemon, I think Alex Baldwin tells Lemon that she's going to die. She's going to choke on a sandwich and then die in her apartment because she's not married. Nobody's ever going to know. They're just going to like miss her in a week. They're going to find her body. And I'm like, oh, same thing's true here. If I end up getting a blood clot, no one's going to find me for a week or more. It's going to smell horrible.
Well, it'll be about 6 days, probably.
Probably about, yeah.
Because we'll have some podcast or something that we were supposed to do on the weekend.
Let me ask you a genuine question, though, Yul. If, for example, we were supposed to do this show and you didn't hear from me, wouldn't you just assume that I got real high and forgot or fell asleep and took a nap? Wasn't that your first response? Wouldn't be to call 911
on a Tuesday?
Yeah.
Well, no, it wouldn't be immediately, but you got to do something.
2 weeks, then it will take 2 weeks for me to get found. Second week in a row that I don't respond and you don't hear from me. You're like, something's not right. Yeah. Something like that. Get a cat. Fantinium, I want one, but they charge cat rent here. It's not expensive, but I love me the animals, but honestly, like until I can train a book cat to come with me when I travel, can eat me. Yeah, delicious.
Hey everybody, just everybody in chat has seen it, but Just a Rican and his comics. That's a channel. You guys should check it out. Thank you for coming
in. Yes, thank you. I was reading chat.
Oh, very good. How y'all doing, guys? Welcome to the show. You didn't even say anything like that, did you?
I'm sorry, I'm reading chat. What happened?
You didn't say like welcome to the show.
No, we were busy talking about Stephen King and how you prejudge too much.
No. Okay. Anyway, welcome to This Whole Everything, where we talk about Stephen King and comic books.
Yay!
That's Lewell over on the other side. My name is Yule, for those of you that don't know or are going to be watching later on.
Yes.
I own Fantastic Comics in Berkeley, California.
Also a yes. That's true.
And we put out our comics on Tuesday. We are closed during the day, or at least after the shipment finally comes. And then afterwards, I get a small little list together of things to talk about. And we hope we're not too boring for about an hour and a half.
We don't really hope that. We're just going to do it anyway. And if y'all don't watch, then sorry, you weren't entertained by our misadventures.
I'll have you know that last week's show made 4 sales of one of the books I'm going to talk about that we sold very well of.
That's pretty cool.
It was a book, if you remember which one. You can say.
Yeah. I do, but I don't. I can't remember if it was the Moon book or the other one.
It was the Moon
John
book.
J. Muth?
Yes, John J. Muth and J.M. DeMatteis.
Yeah, then I did remember.
Also, we have a Instagram account, Fantastic Comics. You could follow my personal one, Filthy Burger, or you could follow Lewell at Paperback Goldmine. Also, people in the chat like Fantinuum and say it for me. Say Bruja.
Jibalba Bruja.
That's the one. You can follow her on Instagram. She talks a lot about comic books also.
Does she talk?
No, she's very she
talks about what she loves.
Yeah, exactly. Why talk about things you don't like unless it was like
clickbait? Clickbait.
Well, that's the reason. Clickbait. We would title these like totally different things. But I thought the Rob Liefeld versus DC was pretty catchy.
So I watched a video by this guy named Jonathan Rausch, who a long time ago I read an article an essay, I guess, that he wrote on introverts, and because I'm an introvert. It was pretty fascinating. Anyway, so this video that he did for Big Think popped up, and it was also pretty fascinating. I cannot speak. Anyway, it's the subject is on artificial outrage and how it becomes addictive. It was pretty fascinating, and I highly recommend people check it out because if you don't want to die of stress a little too young, maybe chill.
Yeah, but isn't that really when we're supposed to get all stressed out when we're younger? It's if
I don't think it's ever good for you.
No, it probably is.
Stress? No, I don't think it is.
What about like volcanoes?
Do you mean like the act of relieving stress?
Yeah, exactly.
Because sex is fun and everybody agrees on that.
I don't know if everybody agrees about it.
Everybody agrees on that.
What if it's a real hot day?
You don't have to agree on it on a hot day, but everybody agrees on that.
Well, you know what? I'm pissed when it's hot.
I don't like it. Never have.
My air conditioner's broken.
You're a ding dong, man. You're an absolute ding dong. I'm sure there's one person out there that does not enjoy sex, and it's not because of like a previous event that has affected their psychology, but like a cousin of this girl that I dated once, her cousin, I dated this girl, her cousin couldn't eat sugar, couldn't tolerate the stuff, hated it, but loved mashed potatoes to the point where it was like a treat. So he had, on his birthday, he didn't have ice cream. All the guest kids would have ice cream, and he would have mashed potatoes on a cone, not sugar cone because he can't stand the sugar, a regular cone, mashed potatoes, and that's what he wanted. That was his ice cream. So I'm sure there's a person out there who's like that with sex, like just a miswiring somewhere that makes it very, very not
wiring. That's rough, man.
Maybe poison. Maybe this stuff is poison, and you shouldn't have it anyway. So maybe he's gonna outlive us all.
Wait, are we talking about sex or mashed potatoes or ice cream?
if sex killed people, it's a really bad strategy for nature to take for us to reproduce
Well,
and
what
raise
about
and raise young.
what praying mantis, right?
I don't think that qualifies. I don't think they raise their children the way we have to raise our children. I think when they're born, it's kind of they're let free, you know. Like you go eat the face off some poor person or bug or whatever they're predators in the insect world.
Poor dude, praying mantises. Poor guys.
I don't know that I believe that either. It probably feels amazing in that moment to have their head ripped off. Don't you think?
Well, I mean, the sweet release of life. Yes.
They would not stick around if it hurt. You know, one of them would figure it out and be like, dude, we don't have to get our heads ripped off. We can just leave after. They'd figure it out. They haven't.
The act of sex is actually accepting it's an acceptance of the fact that you're just going to die.
What sex is?
Yeah, sure.
I suppose so. That's well, I don't know what that is, but okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying, you know. Ugh.
Think of us like flowers, right? I'm a flower that pollinates, and there are flowers out there who don't. They fruit.
They fruit.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, great.
So why don't you tell me, if you don't mind, your top 4 comics?
No, not top 4. You said it's just really good sellers.
Okay, yeah, that's great. And then we guessed. That's right. This is a game. I like this game.
Right. Well, don't guess that one. So what was it? I was going to tell you what were really great sellers, and you're going to guess what the number 1 book was.
Okay, I'm bad at guessing though. We've already established this, but let's do.
All right. Well, I think this one's pretty easy.
I don't care. I'm dim. So
I want everybody to know that I sold out of Moonshadow. I had 2 customers from this, 2 of you from in here that purchased them. And then 2 other people, and I had to put the one that I was going to have for myself back on the shelf to sell it. So I'm very, very excited to have ordered another one of those, or 2 actually. But these are the books that did very well. We had Silver Surfer Black, number 1.
Was that the one that had that really nice cover?
Yeah. Yeah. We just about sold out of that. We have like 1 or 2 copies left. Oh, and an expensive alternate cover. The Batman Who Laughs, number 6.
Of course.
Batman.
Yeah.
And Brian Michael Bendis's and Alex Miller drawing Event Leviathan, number 1. We sold out of that. I don't have any copies here to show you. I was going to review it, but I don't have one, so I can just tell you how I felt about it. So, what do you think?
So I have to guess amongst those 3.
And Flash also did very well for us. I had to get reorders of 70, 71, and 72 came out. So,
well, since you didn't mention it, or you basically forgot to mention it, I'm going to guess that was not number 1.
I think that's pretty good.
I think this is a standardized test taking technique patented by me, and it's free for all, which is not how patenting works. But Batman? I'm going Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a fair, safe bet. What do you guys think? Anybody? If you care to guess, do so immediately, because I'm very impatient.
Yeah, you are correct. It was indeed Batman Who Laughs, number 6.
Do I win anything?
We'll figure it out later.
Oh, good.
Hey, look, Jill's in the chat.
Hey, Jill, what's going on?
So, Batman Who Laughs, number 6 did really well for us. We sold out of that. Actually, all but the 1 or 2 Silver Surfers, all of these sold out. So congratulations to all of them.
Yeah, for real. That was a really nice looking Silver Surfer, though.
It was. If you are the type of person that doesn't have a problem with abstract art, There was a lot of criticism with the illustrations of the comic book. I haven't read it yet. I actually have a copy. It's one of the two. Hopefully I can read it before I need to sell it. But
how much was it?
$3.99.
You said there was one that was more expensive.
Oh yeah. There's an expensive copy. Probably like $15.
So the alternate cover is $15.
Yeah, what it is you have to order X amount of books in order to get it. So if I only needed to get, since I only have one, I probably needed to get 25.
I get you.
Or else I would have had 2, which means it was one every 10.
Right.
It could be one every 15. So anyway,
actually less common.
Yeah, exactly. When you hear a comic book sells 20,000 copies, let's say, and you want to take into consideration like, oh, you needed 25 or 500 in order to be able to order that comic book. It could be as low as that or as high as that, and sometimes even more. That doesn't mean that since there was 20,000 comics sold, that there is the proportionate amount of 500 copies out there. A store had to order 500, not there was 500 and then there's just one out there. You see what I mean?
I do.
Yeah. So they try and dig up some dead artist's artwork or somebody that doesn't work for the company anymore, or something that evokes I don't know, a concept of a comic book from years ago. Like they'll say, oh, this is this is a really special Thor, so we're gonna get Walt Simonson, who's very well known and beloved as a Thor artist, especially, and they get him to do the cover. Sometimes the inside,
rare.
So there you go.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great. I just closed that on accident. That was not.
So not everybody likes the abstract in their comic book artwork, especially I find when it's Marvel. A lot of the fans are very rigid and don't want to see things different more.
So I'm gonna respond to Bruja real quick.
Okay.
And that is that Victor Hugo to me is Les Mis, and I didn't realize. So that makes sense. I get it now. I didn't. That's all. That is all.
That is all.
Isn't that what Picard says to number 1? That is all. No, he says engage and number 1 and stuff. I don't know who says that. What'd you read this week?
Well, I read Event Leviathan by Brian Michael Bendis with art by Alex Maleev.
How was it?
If you've never read Brian Michael Bendis before, I think a person would probably find it very fresh. And I didn't know comics could read this way. But if you've read Brian Michael Bendis for 10, God, is it really even closer to 20 years now? It's gotten old and it hasn't changed. And the story structure hasn't changed. And the quips haven't changed. And it's like, this is a character that's going to do this. And whoever the star of the book is probably going to be less important or less likable than all the supporting cast. And he's very good when he's writing people that you're not supposed to care about. But he's writing normally he's writing Superman right now. Event Leviathan is coming out of Leviathan, the storyline, which was in Action Comics. In that story, which is basically centered around the Daily Bugle, Clark Kent and Jimmy Olsen and I guess Lois Lane have been investigating a whole bunch of crime activity, and it seems like it's really super organized. And there's these people in the background that are trying to run things, and there's this whole thing about not saying keywords or saying anything too loud, and making sure you have meetings in lead tunnels so Superman can't hear anything. And I don't know, I quit Brian Michael Bendis hard. I'm not reading Superman anymore. I'm not reading Action anymore. I'm not collecting them personally. I'm done. I'm done. But
I have a question. I have a question. Were you ever on Brian Michael Bendis hard?
Oh man, yeah, sure. I have been hard on Bendis. When he wrote Sam and Twitch for Spawn, those are the two cops, the fat one and the thin dorky one.
Yeah, I remember.
He wrote that, and it was like HBO detective with just maybe a hint of like horror. Really good stuff. Or maybe it was a little bit more. It was a little bit more like 7, let's say.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
But yeah, it was pretty sweet. It was great. There was cursing. It was like, wow, this is everything that Image can be, using the same, stuff. He wrote Powers for Image, and eventually he signed a deal and went over to Marvel, and he basically was given, well, it took a little while, but he was instrumental in forming the Ultimate Universe with Mark Miller and the company, the head guy at Marvel, Jameis.
I think his name is Stan Lee.
No, yeah, his name was Stan Lee. Well, it was Stan Lee. I mean, they were basically just taking Peter Parker and they were putting him in this Ultimate Universe. So instead of being a child or a kid in the 60s, he's a kid of today. And rather than working for the Bugle as a photographer, he's working at the Bugle to be like some sort of coder or something like that. Anyway, so that kind of made sense. They're just updating it, making it a little different. It was all pretty much the same. And it was like, oh, this is the introduction to Green Goblin. Oh, this is the introduction of the Shocker. And again, if you've read Bendis, you know exactly how long these storylines set up as far as writing and as far as story. And you know as well as I do that you have gotten mixed up reading Bendis pages. Normally you read left to right, up to down, right? But he's this guy that kind of has these pages go like this sometimes. And it's just, you don't even realize it as you're reading it. So I've reread Bendis pages so many times. I mean, am I the stupid one? No, everybody does this.
Be careful when you ask questions.
Well, all right. So I anybody that reads Bendis out there, tell me, have you gotten confused reading any of his pages before? Jeff told me, he's like, oh my God, I did it again. Oh man, he reread a Bendis page. He told me which one. He showed me which one. I took it home and read it and did the same thing. God.
Bravo.
So I am reading
a gift and skill.
Exactly. I'm reading this book for you. Obviously, a bunch of people wanted to read it. I got more coming in another week. So I am looking forward to continue selling it. As far as the story, it was drips. And by the end of it, yeah, it's the world's greatest detectives. The Batman, Lois Lane, The Question, Green Arrow.
Sounds thrilling, actually.
Yeah,
sounds like it could be good.
They're sitting around a building that blew up.
As they do.
They're talking about what happened, trying to find clues. And basically we find out that a bunch of the important government agencies that you're not supposed to know about have been shut down in some way, shape, or form. And this building was, I can't remember which organization, but it blew up. It was probably like the, Argus or something like that. Anyway, Steve Trevor is there. That's the dude who hangs out with Wonder Woman from time to time.
Why is he hanging out with Wonder Woman?
Because he's like a director of Argus. Oh, wait, why is he? That's another reason. The military has to be involved when some, woman from another country, I guess. Starts.
Sure.
I mean, she's like as strong as Superman, you know.
Yeah,
You want
another
to keep tabs
country.
on her if you can.
That's why she's awesome, because she's
Plus,
foreign.
plus, you know, Steve kind of likes her.
That's what I was getting at.
He in the New 52, he was horribly jealous, horribly. And then she started hanging around Superman. This is the other Superman, not the one that we are hanging out reading now. Anyway, yeah, the one that died, sort of, but he came back. Anyway, it's not important.
Anyway,
why don't I change the picture so
why are you changing the picture?
you don't want to see comics that we're going to talk? Oh, so I did a buy.
Yeah.
We did 2 buys actually. Last Wednesday, Fantinuum was here. As I was closing, there was a person that came in and he had some old comic books.
Yes, and just to interrupt, I'm sorry, you all, but when you're closing is exactly when you want everybody to bring you their stuff to sell. That's the exact right time to do it.
That's
right,
exactly how I felt.
exactly when someone's trying to go home for the night.
Exactly.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm already trying to get rid of Fantinuum.
That's a good way to get lowballed real bad.
Yeah. Well, I didn't lowball. I thought I did a good job. If you follow Fantastic Comics on Instagram, then you saw the comics that we bought, but I left 2 off so that, you know, they could be unveiled here so you can see them.
Ooh,
One's already spoken for.
What? That is unfair.
Well, you know, you do what you can. Anyway, we got a whole bunch of old pre-code horror and Charlton comics like Blue Beetle and stuff like that. There were other ones like Captain Britain, which was from, you know, England, and it has the mask in it. It's really cool looking.
I would never have guessed where he was from.
Yeah, it looks like the Union Jack, I guess. Anyway, so this is an old comic book that we got. It is Batman number 55. Okay, let me hold it up for you. Can you see that?
Yes, I can. But if I speak, then no one else can.
Yeah, I got you. All right. So that was Batman 55. I don't know if you can see, but it has a tear right there.
No, there's no tear there.
It's just missing. You're right.
Yeah.
It's not there. It just isn't there. And then this up here, it's kind of messed up. But overall, it's a nice looking book. And it's got the Joker in it. It's got Batman and Robin. But this book, it comes from October 1939.
Oh, hold on. Let's put that into context.
Yeah.
That is 80 years ago. That is 80 years ago.
Yeah, 80 years ago.
1939. Were we still in the Depression?
80-year-old comic book right here. Don't ask me history.
I'm pretty sure we were still in the Great Depression.
Man.
I don't think it ended until after World War II. Go on, show us. Come on, man. I know you want to drink your beer, whatever.
So check this out. Can you see those holes by any chance right there?
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's another one right there. Isn't that sad?
It is. It is.
I mean, someone put this in a binder. The cover is intact. I want you all to know that.
Except for those holes, right?
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, there's a cover missing. There's pieces missing. But overall, if those holes weren't there, oh my God. Oh my God. It makes you, oh my God. Oh.
You're triggering my impatience.
I'm looking at this right now, and it doesn't look bad at all, except for the freaking holes. All right, here we go. There you go, everybody. That's an action number 17. Isn't that great? Look at that. I don't think I've ever had a comic this old before. Definitely not like as important as this is. I showed it to a couple guys that do shows, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this is a good thing. Good thing."
That is a very, very, very cool and an iconic cover too.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Also, the other thing is that I guess like Superman isn't on every Action Comics cover back in these days.
Was he kind of new to town?
Yeah, well, I mean, he was in the first issue and all, but the thing about this comic book is, and I'm going to open this up for you. So here you go. There's other stories that are in here. And I feel pretty good about opening a comic from 1939. Look at this. Hey, everybody. We got Pep Morgan. Slug that guy. Pep. Or maybe it's Pep getting slugged.
It looked to me like that dude. Never mind. I don't want to talk about that.
Look at this. We got, don't say that. When I was reading about the book, it's like, oh yeah, and it has an ad for New York's World Fair.
What? That's cool.
And it's like, oh, and it says 15 cents. And they're talking about 15 cents on the advertisement for the World's Fair. All right, whatever. All right, Mylar, once again.
Oh, I thought you were going to put it back in the binder.
Look at that, beer goggles for comic books right there. Yeah,
that's
pretty cool.
Beer goggles, huh?
Beer goggles, I think.
Funny.
Is what we said.
Very funny.
Thank you.
Well, that's cool. That's very cool. Actually, that's the kind of stuff I am most interested in, is seeing the stuff that you bought. I would like to see some of that horror stuff too, but I guess that's not in the game, huh?
Well, like I said, check out our Instagram.
Who?
Fantastic Comics on Instagram.
I've been avoiding Instagram for a while.
Why is that? Not posting as much as you should?
Yeah, definitely not as much as I should. I'm going there now, though.
Oh, well, do you think now's the time?
No, distinctly not the time, but I'm doing it anyway because I am capable of multitasking, which is a skill in which I do not believe.
Okay, I've heard that before. That it's not a skill for real, a real skill. All right, so without further ado.
Oh, I guess I was confused too, but I think you're about to talk about the stuff that I'm seeing on Instagram that I find confusing, like the TV guide cover. I think that's a thing you're about to talk about, right?
Oh, that was just me talking about an awesome cover of a comic book that's coming out tomorrow. And I thought it was really cool because it looks like a TV guide cover, like you said.
Yes, it does. That's some of the stuff in there. Some of the stuff in there was interesting, though, like the reading in there.
Oh yeah, I didn't read that part.
Well, there's like paging Dr. Betty, drama. Dr. Betty must choose between losing her skirt or a patient.
What?
That's the first one. And there's definitely there's a play on words in there for Betty Page. And then Sam Hill, PI, crime drama. People say Sam Hill in exchange for hell, right?
I don't know that to be true.
I'm not either, but I think it's something like that.
I see.
What in Sam Hill's going on around here?
I just thought that was something that Yosemite Sam would say.
I'm gonna look it up, but that's also inappropriate for what's going on. So why don't you tell me about some comics while I learn?
Why isn't talking about Yosemite Sam? Okay.
Not Yosemite Sam. Get out of here.
Sorry.
I'm looking up Sam Hill, the euphemism.
It probably has something to do with like a Texas general or something, right?
It is a euphemism or minced oath for the devil or hell personified.
Oh
as in, what in the Sam Hill is that? So,
wow, very good.
As I interpreted from context over the course of a life, that's what I figured it meant.
All right, well, good. I'm glad for you.
I am smart.
I'm glad for all of us. Let me show you a little toy that I got for myself. That's right. Got some Clayton Kershaw pop action. That's my boy. I want you to know right now he's pitching against the Giants, and he's scoreless through 5 innings. All right. So go Clayton.
There you go. Hey, so who did the cover of this comic book that we're looking at right now? Because I feel weird about the way that Conan's face is kind of pinched off like a fox's.
That is the interior illustrator, Mike Diodato.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks okay. It's not the worst cover.
No, I was not trying to suggest that it was.
I mean, you know that those guys are waiting for some action.
You know, I didn't even see Wolverine until just now. I was
That's
sitting there
right.
looking at Conan's weird face, and oh, well, would you look at that? There's a little camouflaged Wolverine down there.
That's right. And there's a Punisher with a gun.
I got attracted to all those muscles. And I was like,
Elektra.
dizzy.
We've got Brother Voodoo, and we got Venom. Unfortunately, not everybody is in this book, as this this first story is all about getting the team together. We start off this issue with a prequel of sorts, taking us back to World War II, and this Luftwaffe guy. He lives and he meets Kulan Gath, which is an old Conan villain. He's also been in the Marvel Universe and has caused problems for the Avengers, X-Men, all sorts of people. Anyway, he's kind of like the guy now that's trying to get all the blood of these fearsome warriors. And at the end of the last issue, Brother Voodoo was felled, and Wolverine's like, he's going to save the day. And so what he does is he cuts himself open. He cuts open the heart of Brother Voodoo, and then he bleeds all over the heart. Because
a little jump start from that
exactly
curing problem that he has.
Whatever, it worked. Anyway, this is pretty cool. Like I said, it's just a bunch of people getting together, so that they can go on. I don't know. The only thing is, I don't know how long of a series this can actually continue to be. We've got Conan that's displaced. We've got all these heroes that aren't even really in the story yet that are gonna be, and how are they gonna really, want to be with each other? But there were some ninjas, so Elektra is gonna have a reason to be here. The Punisher was there, and there was a jar of alien dude that was killed, so I think we're going to get some symbiote action with Venom.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So nowadays, is Venom a good guy?
Yeah, I guess so.
And he used to be a bad guy.
Well, he really had a hard time dealing with the fact that Peter Parker didn't want to bond with him.
Do you mean like
Peter Parker didn't want to be taken out for a spin at night by Venom and fatally killing villains or muggers or anybody? So Venom got together with this guy named Eddie Brock. Eddie Brock also coincidentally didn't like Peter Parker, so they had a reason to hate both of them. One hated Spider-Man and Peter Parker, and the other one hated Peter Parker, and ultimately because of Spider-Man. Now they've gotten a little bit better. One of them almost died.
Was a sensible antagonism. It made sense.
Yeah, it was enough. It was enough for a villain of the 90s, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Pretty good book. I'll give it a 3 out of 5. I know.
We're doing numbers now. Okay.
I just wanted to put it in the middle.
I give it 753 out of 5,000.
That's pretty good. I like that one. I finally got around to reading X-Men number 19, which is good because number 20 comes out tomorrow. This is continuing the end of the Matthew Rosenberg run until we get to Hawks and Pox by Jonathan Hickman. It was an okay issue, but it had a lot of the problems I get with a Matthew Rosenberg book. There's scene transitions and just dialogue and things that happen that don't really seem to, I don't know. It just doesn't really work for me. It's a pretty good story, and if it didn't have the specter of a Jonathan Hickman series hanging over its head, I probably bit more. This is all about Emma Frost and what's been going on with her while Cyclops and Wolverine were getting the team together. And she's been having to deal with this jerk general guy that can, blow up her brain if she uses her powers. She ultimately gets some sort of autonomy and is involved with the Hellfire Club. But of course, there's a cliffhanger, and there's at least another mutant that dies in this one, which has been the overall thing that's been, marking the Matthew Rosenberg run of X-Men. He's just been killing everybody off.
It's called cleaning house.
He's cleaning house.
That's right.
So while we have the other X-Men that are in that X-Man universe that I'm not reading, we have these X-Men that are kind of lesser other than Cyclops and Wolverine, and they're being killed off. So there you go.
X marks the spot then.
Yeah, I'll give this 2 out of 5. No, I'm just joking. I didn't read all of Gogor yet.
That does not bode well.
No. I did. I just read those other ones instead.
Yeah,
I enjoy the illustrations quite a bit. There's a really cool scene here. So it all starts off with a fight because Gogor was, the incantation was brought up at the end of the last issue. He was unearthed and is fighting off the troops that were following our guy. I like this. He rolls them up in a ball and he throws them. And the thing about this world is there's like islands that are floating that make up the I don't know what you would call it, this world. A lot of
you familiar with Minecraft, that is known as a void world.
Oh, thank you. Well, there you go. I like the art. One of the things that's really neat is, and I've been kind of harping on it recently, is the panel layout. Look at the panel layout. Look at the panel layout. And then look at the panel layout. Isn't that nice? It's a different way to read it. It's not confusing, Bendis. And this is Bendis when he's working with all sorts of other artists. Mark Bagley, Alex Maleev, David Finch. It doesn't matter. Okay, anyway.
So this guy is not Brian Michael Bendis, to be clear.
Oh, look at this. Here's the panels again. Panel, 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 panel. Love that. Anyway, I'm almost to the part where I stopped. We have the bad guys talking and explaining what happened. And the one dude's like, "Oh no, I'm gonna get this going. Don't you worry, sir." And then finally, that ball of humanity comes and splats right behind him. That was like 4 or 5 pages before that happened. So I'm really looking forward. Oh, and I read a couple pages past this. We're meeting the new characters also. I enjoyed this, what I've read so far, and this will go back on my pile to finish reading. It seems pretty all ages, so anybody should be able to get into it. I really like the colors, and like I said, the pacing and the storytelling is pretty good. Pretty good for a book these days. Nice. Definitely worth your $3.99 or whatever it costs.
Hey, keep that book aside. I want to talk to you about it afterwards, so long as you have a ruler. Do you have a ruler there?
A ruler?
Or a tape measure? In your store?
Yeah, somewhere.
Okay, good. Save that book.
All right, very good. That's it. That's all the books I've read this week.
So everything that remains on that easel is stuff that's coming out tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
So you're
not here. And I've read this. So if you want to hear about it, I can tell you about it.
Actually, I do want to hear about it.
I read this like 20 years ago. This was the first issue of Dazzler, and it was a big deal, let me tell you. She had her introduction in X-Men number 130 by Chris Claremont and John Byrne. She has, it was like, it was hyped. She's gonna be a comic book character, and have her own series. Now this is the facsimile edition. You can see because it has this very familiar ad for anybody that read comic books back in these days. And the reason why I'm showing you this book is because John Romita Jr. did the artwork in this. And I wanted to show, look at these advertisements. I used to spend hours looking at this crap.
X-ray specs and stuff?
Oh, yeah. X-ray specs, tiny camera. They told you it had like 6 to 8 weeks, sometimes 8 to 12 weeks for delivery. And I thought, oh my God, I can't do that. That's too long to wait.
I mean, some of the stuff that was on there, like, what were X-ray specs?
I think they were just crappy glasses, right? With
I
like
think there was like a piece of feather that went across. I don't know, man, but like that stuff, obviously, how is that not false advertising? I mean, what fool thinks they're going to get X-ray specs for 12 cents? But at the same time, what fool advertises X-ray specs for 12 cents?
I mean, they were only $1.85.
Whatever, you know what I mean.
You know, come on. How about a spy pen radio for $3.75?
Yeah, what makes it a spy pen radio?
I don't know, but I think the ventriloquist dummy is the real steal at $3.49.
You might be right, actually. That might be the best thing you could possibly hope to get out of the front of a magazine like that.
So this story is all about Dazzler, and like you get Spider-Man cameos. Oh, she's a disco
queen.
mutant.
It's a disco queen.
Her power is to make light. Oh man, this is awesome! Look at Spidey. John Romita already had done like a lot of Spider-Man work, and his father had done like Spider-Man years prior. Anyway, she makes a light show. Eventually, she can change it to lasers and stuff like that. The thing is she has to absorb sound, which is perfect for her because she's a musician, and all she wants to do is just light the stage up with her song and with her act. But she's a mutant, and of course, you know, you can't be a mutant. That's horrible.
It's so benign.
What was that?
I said it's such a benign power. Like, what kind of jerk is upset because Dazzler is a mutant? You know what I mean?
Yeah, well,
he's like complaining about good food. What are you doing? Why are you being a dick?
I agree. So, you know, there you go. Great art. Now, the reason why I'm showing you this artwork is because years later, John Romita Jr. is going to work with Frank Miller. And Frank Miller is fresh off of Dark Knight Returns. And he came back and did a Daredevil 6-parter with Mazzucchelli, who was the series artist at the time. But then he did this miniseries, which is basically a Daredevil year one. And they had John Romita Jr. do the artwork. And in this, John Romita's style, although similar to what we just saw, it's taken a bit of a change. And I would suggest it's becoming more like Frank Miller. And the reason why, and then, you know, you'll see John Romita's work later on. It's definitely very reminiscent of John Romita or Frank Miller. And then that's why I bring you to today. Superman, year one by Frank Miller and John Romita Jr. Do I have the other one? I have this cover, and I have the J.R. Jr. cover. I don't like that one as much. What do you think?
He looks a little scrawny for Superman.
He does. Anyway, still pretty cool looking. Anyway, we got this Frank Miller cover. The artwork inside is excellent. It starts on, I've read about 10 or 15 pages. It starts off with the exploding Krypton. Although I've read many versions of that, this is still very good and very powerful. I really like this scene right here. So he's floating through space and then he lands on Earth. Not that part. Let me get to this one. And then here he puts his hand up, and then what he's doing is he, even as an infant, is lifting the cockpit of his ship up. And there's a Pa Kent, Jonathan. And just like the story normally, he takes him home, and there's Martha. And that's about as far as I got. It looks pretty nice. I enjoyed what I read. The thing about Frank Miller writing Superman is I never really respected his version of Superman in stuff like Dark Knight Returns. And sometimes when you heard him speak about it, he never seemed like he really got quite what the character was all about. He just felt he was, it just seemed like he was just like this yes man Boy Scout type character, which I think is what you feel about him, right?
No, I feel like he's boring because he's invincible.
Oh, okay. Well, in this, I hear he is going to be a Navy SEAL.
Okay.
How you feel about that?
I don't.
Well, anyway, I'll let you know how I feel about this book going forward. I'll read this. I'm going to read this in Gogor.
Yeah.
So that comes out tomorrow.
Yeah.
This is part of the Black Label. This is the part of the company that, you know, it sounds like it's going to be destroyed at any moment.
Any minute now.
Nothing seems the same. Like they take, you know, All-Star Superman and they make it a Black Label book, and they you know, they make that Batman book, The Last Night on Earth, and then this isn't a magazine. That's not a magazine-sized one, but this one is, and the other one's late and it has a bat penis in it.
Oh,
So,
where's the penis?
You know, where's the Wonder Woman by Rucka? Where's the Paradise Island by DeConnick? You know, this company, Black Label, this line, I should say, is very, I don't know, it's confusing.
They might not know they might not know what they're doing, to be completely frank.
Warner Brothers company not know what they're doing? That's scary.
It happens. I think a lot of times stuff gets thrown out just to see what the reaction will be.
Yeah. There's a new issue of Gideon Falls. I don't know what's going on.
Do you mean it's like Twin Peaks, or do you mean that you haven't been reading it lately?
I did not read issue 13. Oh,
Okay.
wait. Sorry. I did not read issue 13. And this is issue number 14.
Okay.
And I told you when I read number 12, I didn't know what. I was like, I don't know what I just read. So what I'm going to do, along with Gogor and along with Superman Year One, I'm going to read 3 issues of Gideon Falls for us next week, along with everything else. But I'm going to make sure to take copious notes on Gideon Falls so I can tell you what's going on.
Interesting.
But, just go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was done. I was just saying no.
12, 13, and 14 follow Gideon Falls trade paperbacks 1 and 2. So I have all of them here right now. So, yeah, there you go. I just want everybody to know that. I do like the series, and it is very much like Twin Peaks. And there's a lot of crazy, spooky stuff going on, and I really like it. I just can't tell you everything about it.
That's okay. Yeah.
All right. Things I can tell you about. Black Badge.
All right.
Number 11. We got it on time this week.
Matt Kent.
Yeah, I love this book. This is drawn by Tyler Jenkins. And I know I've talked about it a lot. It's about a scout troop that runs covert missions for the government. That's the easy pitch.
Pronounce it right. It's the government.
Yeah. Recently, our heroes have been interrogated and put in a very bad situation. And it feels very much like The Prisoner. And I love The Prisoner. And if you weren't here for it, I asked Matt Kent how he felt about The Prisoner.
He said
he's a big fan. Yeah. So I don't know what's going to happen in this issue. I did not read it, but I'm really looking forward to it. This is definitely one of my favorite series. We've got Grant Morrison's Green Lantern. We've got Matt Kent doing Black Badge, and Black Hammer by Jeff Lemire are all books I would have to keep reading if I didn't own a store. Those would be the ones I would actually put money down for. There are other books that I would definitely want to keep reading, but these are the ones that would bring me to the comic store month in and month out. They're really good. So Black Badge is excellent. There was a trade, or I should say a hardcover, that collected and this is horrible, the first 4 issues of the comic book. But if you haven't got the issues, you should get that collection. Anyway, Black Badge.
How much was that?
It's not inexpensive. They definitely want you to read the comic book, and I appreciate that. So if I'm going to make money off Black Badge going forward in book form, it's going to make me more money than these things here. But I highly recommend people pick these up. They got a really nice cardboard stock cover, and the artwork's excellent, and it's just really fun. All the characters are really fleshed out, and it's just a really, really good book. And I would recommend it for just about anybody. It's not too much cussing, but there is some. So if there's a younger person in your life, you might want to know whether or not they're able to read that stuff. All right. Now we have Savage Sword of Conan. I read the 5th issue of Savage Sword of Conan last week also, which was the end of the last story, or the first storyline. That was written by Jerry Dugan. This is the beginning of a new story with a new artist. The new artist is Luke Ross, and the writer is Meredith Finch. Meredith Finch writes Rose for Image Comics. She also had a stint where she was writing Wonder Woman with her husband doing the art. She got a lot of bad publicity for saying something about Wonder Woman not being a feminist or something like that. So all sorts of people got all upset with her. But maybe she's perfect for writing a Conan story. It seems like Savage Sword is going to have a rotating group of people working on it. So you might go in and out depending on the creative team. I'm looking forward to reading this. And if anybody's been reading the short story that comes with this book, you're going to want this just for that alone. So Savage Sword, new storyline. Let's check it out.
Let's check
it out.
I like that cover.
Meredith, don't suck. Justice League, this is a villain issue, which is fine because at the end of the last issue, the Justice League came back from the 6th dimension to find things not quite the same. The villains actually saved the day, and this leads into this issue, which is one of the villain issues of Justice League. Every 4 or 5 issues, whatever it is, Tynion gets to write the whole story, and they usually have a guest artist. It features the Legion of Doom, and this says the death of Starman. Anyway, I've been really enjoying it, and the villain issues actually end up being some of the better ones. So, looking forward to reading it. All right, Little Bird number 4. This is only a 5-issue series. I think there's going to be another one to start up, and it'll probably be another 5 issues or whatever it is. If I'm not mistaken, in the letter column of issue 3, they talk about printing this. They don't really have any ideas right now to reprint this book in a collected form. But they said if they did, it would definitely be more expensive than the issues. So again, not unlike Black Badge, if you want the cheaper version of Little Bird, you should get this in issue form. Not only do you get a letters page at the back of the book, but each cover is like something you can hang on the wall. The artwork by Ian Bertram is excellent, and I really enjoyed the story. It's kind of hard to, there's good guys and there's bad guys. Little Bird seems to get offed quite often, but she's resilient. So, yeah, looking forward to this issue.
Question.
Yes.
Are they still available? Can you still get them in comic book form since that's the cheaper form?
Yeah, you can. Right now, unfortunately, I do not have the 2nd issue. It's on order. But the 3rd issue, which had sold out, is back in. So I have all the other issues. So this is the time to jump on it if you haven't. And like I said, number 2 will be back in stock soon.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Oh, Uncanny X-Men number 20. I was telling you about that. So
who's in the needle?
Well, I see Havoc and Cyclops and Danny Moonstar, it looks like.
So who's going to get jacked up on mutant powers?
Yeah, good question. It's a pretty cool cover. It was like Whilce Portacio did the illustration.
Have you ever seen a syringe like that?
No.
Yeah, me either.
It's got to probably get in something pretty big, right?
I just mean those glass ones with the hoops that your fingers go through. I've never actually seen one.
Oh, I don't know. Probably in a video game. This art. Oh, it's LaRocca's.
That's actually real video games.
The video games are real, aren't they?
Yeah,
I thought that's what we're talking about.
for sure.
Oh, we got some Mirage action. Or I mean, magic action. Mirage. I think. I don't know. Who knows? She might have died. Oh, you see this Stan soapbox right here?
Yes.
See that?
Yes.
So Stanley would write in the comic books in the letters page area, and he would have like some sort of thing that was like, something that was he wanted to get off his chest, whether it was important or not. It might have just been like, oh, I'm just trying to shill this, this stuff. But Marvel recently takes out a whole page and they just take the Stan soapbox and they just print it. And it often seems like they're addressing people's concerns of today by using these words, but it's kind of hollow. Stan's not coming up with this for today. It's these people taking those words and just, filling it in right here. So that's kind of like a jerky thing to do. Anyway, X-Men. Ooh, Faithless number 3. Do you remember anything of what I said about Faithless?
Not a thing. No.
It's super. It's as close to porny as we get in our store.
So is it done by that guy who's the guy that uses porn images to draw over?
Oh, yeah, it's over for Greg Land. Somebody figured out how to do it.
Flip it upside down.
All right.
I want to see that devil.
There you go. Yeah, that's something else, huh? I don't remember the characters' names. I'm not going to really. This is a book that's a little bit more about maybe the feel. So I don't know if the characters' names are really important. We have Woman A who meets Woman B, and Woman B seduces Woman A, and there's a party in the second issue, and she meets this guy who you find out is Woman B's father at the end. And I don't know what to make of this book, but it's super erotic. It's got really nice artwork. And if the story would go anywhere, this could be a really, really great seller in our store. Overall, first issue and second issue have sold out. I didn't order super heavy because I'm not always into Brian Azzarello. He has had hits in the past, but I don't know. He's not always the greatest. But like I said, if you're into an erotic story, this Faithless is pretty cool.
Question.
Yeah.
The thing on the devil's head, is that Tom Strong's publisher?
Tom Strong's publisher?
Isn't that the logo from
the America's Best Comics logo?
Isn't it?
Sure, why not?
That's all I could think about. Is digging it, Tom Strong?
Say, what was that?
It wasn't important, trust me.
Oh, I thought it was.
Of course it wasn't. It was coming out of my mouth.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize. Okay, well, very good. Faithless number 3. Like I said, it's like a porny comic. It's pretty interesting. I liked it. The first 2 issues, and like I said, it was really, really good artwork. So, if only for those things, you should pick it up. And then, last but not least, oh, don't you just love it? Warlord of Mars Attacks. Get it? Warlord of Mars Attacks.
I get it.
All right. Well, I usually the Mars Attacks comics are pretty good. John Layman, who wrote Chew, has done ones in the past. The artwork's usually okay, but this one is written by Jeff Parker. And Jeff Parker has taken books that I've been not very inclined to want to read. And when I got done reading them, they've always been very, very good. So I've got high hopes for this book. I've got the damaged copy, as you might be able to see right there. And the artwork inside is pretty cool too. It's not bad. It's not the worst, at least. It's pretty solid looking. And yeah. So hey, man, it's got the Mars Attacks Martians, and we've got John Carter, I guess, Warlord of Mars. Is that who that is?
Yeah, it's Edgar Rice Burroughs.
Yeah. So I'm down. I want
All
to
right.
read this. I'll give you a report on that one. Yeah.
So let's bring this back. Let's bring this all the way back to pinball. Yeah.
Okay. Pinball.
One of the pinball machines in the pizza place that I used to work at was Mars Attacks. And I don't know if it was Bally or who made it, but it was really, really a good machine. And I don't mean that it was better crafted. I mean, it was a really fun pinball machine. I miss pinball, man. I kind of want one. I don't want to pay for it though. And I don't think there's I don't know. The last time I went to that pinball museum, they had Medieval Madness, but it was broken. They didn't have the Addams Family, and they did have Mars Attacks, and I want to say that it was working. So I got to play it. But anyway, yeah, pinball. Woohoo. I do too. They're huge though. That's part of the problem, and they have to be maintained really a lot.
Ugh.
They're supposed to be like polished, like your car in the sun, on the regular, waxed.
I don't usually do that to my car.
Okay.
All right. I'm reading all the chat right now.
What are they saying?
I can't read Faithless in public. Yeah, you might not want to do that. Yeah. Faithless, yeah. Don't read that in public.
So is that it for comic books, you all?
Yeah, that's it. I ran through those pretty quick, didn't I?
That wasn't too quick. I mean, it's 10:15, 10:16. I think that's a fairly reasonable rate. Didn't feel rushed, didn't feel slow. But I think that means that it's time for everybody's favorite part of the show.
Oh, no.
Eugene!
Hold on a second.
Eugene, it's your turn.
It's the mukbang portion of the show. Is that what it is?
It's a thrill ride for everybody but you, I think.
Oh, yeah.
What's wrong with mukbang?
Nothing.
That's what's wrong with it is a little bit weird in my opinion, like watching people eat. I don't do it at restaurants, and like if somebody was watching me eat, I would be uncomfortable.
Well, it's not all right, so for those of you that might be interested, Eugene does this all the time. This is not
confirm.
Yeah.
Confirm.
This is not something that he's just doing for this camera here. He comes in with crap all the time. And sometimes it's drinks, and sometimes it's candy, and sometimes it's not.
He has an adventurous taste sensation going on.
Yeah, well, the thing is about Eugene, he seems to relish this.
No pun intended, right?
Oh my gosh. You should see him slapping this stuff down here. Like he's making a show. Well, of course we should put it into a vote. He knows what I don't like, so he probably got it.
Yeah, use the camera so that we can see.
This is banana milk.
Banana milk. Oh, that's interesting. Banana milk.
What's the ingredient list on that? If it's legible.
Oh, I can't even read that.
Evaporated
Expired
milk.
water. Extended water. What is that first word right there?
What's that? Filtered.
Filtered water. Okay, that makes more sense.
Extended water. What is extended water, Yule?
Powder. A skim milk powder. Great. High fructose corn syrup. Sugar, because that wasn't enough. Banana juice concentrate. So banana juice. Yeah, that's sweet.
How is that even a thing?
Yeah, so there is a wrestler named Matt Hardy.
I looked that up, what you're about to say.
This whole thing about banana juice and how how expensive it is. And we looked it up online, and banana juice is freaking really expensive.
It is.
Really,
But it's not really banana
expensive.
juice. It's what they call it. It's puree. It's mango puree with sugar and water or something. It's nectar. That's what it is. It's like a pear nectar where they take the essence and then they add sugar to it.
All right, here we have biscuit with chocolate black currant.
Have you ever had a currant?
I think I have. This is by Krakus, product of Poland.
Sweet.
Yeah, there you go. No, I said Poland. This is the Hello Kitty matcha green tea marshmallow. And this has a matcha jelly inside.
I want that.
I bet you do.
I do. I like matcha.
Me right now with this stuff. And then here we have, last but not least, right? Milkita. It's a banana shake candy.
I would eat that too.
Try all of this, whether it's on camera or not.
Is this a sustainable rate that we're going at? I think we should vote on one.
Yeah, vote on one. So one last time, we had banana milk, we had the marshmallows, we had the banana shake candy,
And
and then we had
currant.
the
Black currant. What are they? Black currant what?
black currant, chocolate black currant
Wafer cookies.
wafer cookies.
Okay. Do I get to vote too?
Yeah, you do too.
I vote count for like 10 votes.
3-0 right now. Yeah. All right.
Okay, good.
3-0.
All right. I'm going to go with Hello Kitty.
Hello Kitty. All right. So Corey says Hello Kitty.
I vote. Oh, good. Corey's smart.
Bruja says no to the. All right. I don't get.
She says banana juice or currant cookies. Banana juice.
Banana juice.
She wants the cookies, so don't eat them, is what she's saying.
Well, there'll be a cookie here for you. All right. So is it banana juice?
It's definitely not the cookies.
I saw green tea, but that's not right. It was the green tea marshmallows. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Corey and I are voting for. And then 2 people are voting for banana juice, I think.
I see
Or maybe that's 3. I think that's 3 people voting for banana juice.
Oh, banana. Okay, banana juice.
Yep.
All right, so banana juice it is. Oh man.
We'll get it next time, Corey.
What'd you want? Oh, the marshmallow?
Yeah, because I want to try them.
Well, it's Hello Kitty, so it's got to be good, right?
Hello Cookie, yeah. Democracy. What did Disney call democracy? The tyranny of the masses.
That's what Disney.
I think it was him. Yeah.
All right. See, I got it right here. I got the straw. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Don't make a mess.
I'm not going to. All right. Here we go. All right. Say something while I drink.
I can't do that. You know that. It's like putting me on the spot. I've got nothing to say.
You know that song, We Have No Bananas Today?
Yeah, vaguely.
You have bananas today.
We do. We have several bananas today, and Yule does not look like he's enjoying that. For those of you that didn't get that little spot right there where he was actually tasting the banana juice, here's your chance.
What's happening? This is I don't know what that is.
Oh man. Yeah, that's banana milk, all right. So there you go. It's pretty good.
Describe it, man.
Oh my god, I don't know. It's like all right, so it's not really milky, but oh man, it's got a really aftertaste also.
A really aftertaste?
All right, it's got the consistency of milk. It's got the taste of banana, and then it's got whatever chemicals in that I can taste in the back of my tongue. Like back there.
Yeah.
So it's really not good at all, actually.
Well, if you were raised drinking that stuff, I'm sure you'd think it was just spectacular.
Yeah, I might have a third eye or something also.
What? That's not fair.
I don't know. Being raised on, I mean, please. I mean, like we said, there's no real banana paste. Anyway, yeah.
You can get a banana paste. I think you can get an extracted banana, but it's a chemical process, just like any other extract.
I think I can taste the chemical in that.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a liquid mukbang.
Are you
Yeah,
done with it? You're done.
I'm done. Oh, you want to drink some?
you
You want to?
did you drink it all?
Oh, come on, just have some. Why don't you just drink some?
Yeah. Come on,
Nice.
Eugene.
Oh no, it's good cooties. Oh my gosh,
Who did you buy it for, if not for yourself, right?
what'd you do there?
I'd say it's like if Starburst were a banana flavor, and they liquefied it.
That's it, just a Starburst.
Yeah, it's like candy
Banana candy.
in fluid form.
It's candy in fluid form. I don't know. I mean, it's not.
Wow, Gizmo is very intrigued.
It's not. It's not like cough syrup or anything like that. It's just. I don't know. It's not refreshing, and it's whatever milkiness you have. It just really coats you on the tongue. Yeah, not good.
Okay. All right. Excellent.
It comes through. Like,
It's a. Yeah, not a fan. No. Oh god, he drank the rest of that. I mean, watching him drink it brings back the experience of having drunk it.
Oh, memories, right?
The memory of 5 seconds ago.
I'm trying to get rid of it.
I want to relive it. It's horrible. Excuse me.
Well, there you have it, folks. It's not a pleasant beverage. Not something Yule's going to pick up in exchange for a soda or coffee or tea, right?
Right, exactly.
Yule, do you drink coffee?
Yeah, in the morning.
You do?
Sometimes, yes.
Maybe I've never seen you in the morning. Is that a possibility?
Well, you get up pretty late.
Oh, no, I remember. You used to go get something over at that cafe. That was coffee then, huh?
Oh, those days. We are going to have to get rid of those videos shortly, people. So
We are?
Well, you said that we were.
I'm not taking them off YouTube. I was just going to get them off of my computer.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that. Never mind.
We're not getting rid of them. I just don't want them on my hard drive because I'm using that hard drive.
Okay, very good. I mean, it was really confusing because you made it sound like, oh, there was no more space to hold these videos.
The internet is full.
I see people with 20 years of freaking YouTube videos.
Yes. I don't know if anybody's got quite that many years.
Money I have to spend, I'll spend the money. I'll do it.
We just got, well, you just got called a boomer.
Well, I was just not, I was, yeah, well, there you go.
It is my backup drive, Fantinuum. It is my backup drive.
Backup drive. Yeah, get rid of them. I don't care.
I have a permanent backup, and then I have a backup drive, and it's on my backup drive, and I want to get it off of there. So I can't access the other one.
I don't know. Did you hear Eugene hacking up a lung just a little bit ago?
No.
Yeah, that did happen.
Was he mukbanging that juice?
He was spitting up the mukbang.
Storage is cheap and getting cheaper, thank God. But I don't have it, and I'm lazy and hidden by it. So Yule, 10:30.
All right, 10:30.
Look at the time.
Yeah, look at the time. Thanks everybody for showing up. We had a full house, standing room only.
I just want to respond to something really quick. I haven't gone to BitChute in months now because they won't let us automatically update what goes on to YouTube anymore. Like, it doesn't work. I think it doesn't work because we're doing Hangout on Air, which is going away, by the way, Yule.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're going to have to try something called youtube.com webcam. Oh, no. So we have to try some new technology. So the boomers in both of us are going to struggle. Anyway.
Oh, yeah. Hit that play button. I'll do that too.
Do what?
I said hit that like button.
Oh, yeah.
I go to, oh yeah, and if anybody wants more content that is of a YouTube video nature discussing comic books, you should go to Discovery Bay Comics, and you'll see a listing of all the shows that are going to be on that night that request some I don't know a spotlight.
That's a good story, Yule. That's a good story. On that note,
Yeah.
all right, I'm killing it. Good night, everybody.
Night, everybody.